to those Jerkies times 3. My name is Kenisa, and today we're going to be discussing what happened to Zoe. As you all know, a couple weeks ago in October, Zoe had a bit of a health scare. So, just to give you guys a back history of what kind of was going on, a few weeks prior to that, maybe 2 weeks prior to that, you guys know I do home daycare, and so I was cleaning up my daycare area, which I do keep gated off. So I had to leave and go to the restroom, and I closed the gate behind me, but some way my dear Zoe Chanel was able to finesse her way into the daycare room, and she did see some grapes that were in a plastic bag. And typically she doesn't go in there. When I close the gate, she doesn't try to go in there, but Zoe is my food hound. If you have food or anything, she will sniff it out, she will find it, and she will make her best attempt to get it. So she was able to get into the gate, and by the time I came back into the daycare room, she had swallowed a majority of the plastic bag along with the grapes. So obviously I'm freaking out because I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh my god, she just ate. It was a plastic Ziploc bag, so I was like literally having a panic/heart attack. And she seemed okay. She was kind of panting a little bit. So at first I was like, okay, well maybe, I know she can pass the grapes. Obviously I know that grapes are not the best thing for dogs, but I'm like, okay, she can pass the grapes. But I started to get worried about the plastic. So I did call my emergency vet, and I let her know, hey, my dog was able to eat a Ziploc bag. And obviously this has never happened to us before, and I'm usually extremely careful. I know that before I left that daycare area, I should have picked up those grapes out of reach. But typically, like I said, she never goes in there. And when the door is closed, she knows not to attempt to go in there. But I guess that day, her hunger got the best of her. So anyways, I called the vet and I let them know, like, hey, my dogs ate a plastic bag that had grapes in it. They weren't concerned about the grapes, but they were concerned about the plastic bag. So they wanted me to induce vomiting. So what I did was I used about 1.5 tablespoons of peroxide, and I put it in a little syringe, put it in the back of her throat, and pushed it down so she would swallow that peroxide. So about 10 to 15 minutes later, she obviously begins to throw up. And she threw up. You could see plastic contents, and you could see grapes and things like that in the throw up. The whole grapes. She didn't even chew them. She just literally inhaled them because she knew she didn't have that much time. Before I came back. So I got it all out of her, and I saw the plastic bag. I saw this, and they said, you want to make sure that all the plastic bag is up, and you want to make sure the grapes are out. So I did see those things, but obviously it's hard to tell if that's all of it, because I can't sit and put together pieces of plastic bag throw up and make sure that the Ziploc bag is all out of her stomach. So I just kept an eye on her. I let them know she did throw up. I did see all the grapes, and I did see a majority of plastic. So I'm thinking we're good to go. And she was perfectly fine. I did keep a really close eye on her. The next few days, she was eating normal. She was playing around normal. She was peeing and pooping on her normal schedule. I was kind of making sure she wasn't backed up or anything wasn't blocking her from peeing or pooping. Things like that. So 2 whole weeks later, she was doing just fine. 2 weeks later, one morning, we woke up on Saturday, and she was throwing up. And she just kept throwing up. And it wasn't like a little bit of throw up. It was like big, huge chunks of throw up. So then I kind of was like, okay, maybe she's not feeling that well, because her and Marley do eat different foods. Zoe's on a homemade food, and Marley is on a medicated prescription food. And she did eat a little bit of his food, which she's done in the past and was perfectly fine. So I was like, well, maybe Marley's food didn't agree with her this time, wasn't sure. But then, and then she was kind of okay. So I was like, okay, let me see if she can eat a little bit of something. So I gave her a little bit of food for breakfast, not her full amount, but just some. And she threw it up, and then after she ate, she just kept throwing up. So I called my local pet hospital, Banfield, and they at first they weren't trying to get me in. Then I'm like, hey, she's really sick, she's throwing up. And they were like, well, we can get you in for a drop-off. This was the day of our supposed meetup. So we were going up there anyways because we wanted to do the Halloween pictures. So, Banfield does the free pet Halloween pictures. So, okay, we'll get her up there before noon. We got her up there, and they had her for a little bit. They did x-rays. And so, what was it? Maybe a couple hours later, they called me back, and they let me know that her liver was testing high, and that they saw something in her x-rays. It looked like it was obstructing her lower intestine, like it was blocking off her lower intestine. So he was like, we'll just put her on fluids, and I'll give her some anti-nausea medicine. And I'm like, wait a second, what in the heck does that have to do with her liver not functioning properly and blocking her lower intestine? I'm like, well, what are we going to do about that? He's like, well, there's really nothing we can do here. we can just offer you fluids and nausea medicine because we don't have an ultrasound here, because we don't have an ultrasound here. And it really just frustrated me because, first of all, the doctor was really talking in circles, and it's not my normal doctor at Banfield, so he was really getting on my nerves because he wasn't really telling me what was going on. I kept having to ask him questions, and then I felt like he was acting like I was getting on his nerves, which I honestly didn't care at that point, because one way or another I'm gonna need to get my questions answered. So by the time we got done talking in circles and me getting frustrated with him, like, okay, well, just tell me, what is that gonna solve? He was like, well, maybe the fluids will help with this. But I was like, okay, well, with the fluids, will that push that whatever's obstructing her lower intestine out? And he was like, no, I don't think it will. Then what are we doing fluids for? So I just got really frustrated with him. So then I just ended it, and I was just like, okay, can you just give me her x-rays and I'll take her to my emergency vet? And so he was like, yeah, we can do that. Mind you, just getting the x-rays and them doing absolutely nothing and just getting fluids, it was about $200. So that was annoying. And I have nothing but good things usually to say about Banfield, and this doesn't mean that I'm going to end my service with Banfield, but because I've had so many good experiences, I think it was just this doctor and his attitude, and I've never had him before, and I just didn't like him. So definitely in the future, I wouldn't let him examine my dogs. I just wouldn't trust his judgment. I don't like how he was brushing me off and acting like it wasn't a big deal, and it was frustrating me. And so I got her x-rays, which they gave me a CD, and I got her blood work so I could take it to my actual vet. So I get to my emergency vet. So I get to my emergency vet, which they do surgery. I called them before I went just to make sure, hey, if she needs surgery, is there somebody there who can do it, and do you have the equipment to do it? And they said yes. They were able to call in a doctor. Mind you, this is a Saturday, so it's not a normal business day. But they said that they did have a doctor that they could call in to perform surgery if they deemed it necessary. So, and they let me know off rip, it's gonna be between $1,500 and $3,000, which is another thing. When you have dogs, you have to be prepared for things like this, to where if something like this happens, you don't want to have to make a life or death decision on something that's not fatal to Zoe. Like, she can do the surgery and she'll go on to live a happy life. So you don't want to have to be like, oh man, am I even going to be able to get this surgery for her? Or, is this going to keep obstructing her because I can't afford it? You don't want to have to be thinking about that in these type of situations. So it's very important to have something saved up or set aside. So if something like this happens, money is not even a thought. You're just worried about getting your dog's health in order. So anyways, we get up there, and I gave them the x-rays, and they were looking at Zoe, and he asked if they could do more x-rays, which, of course, x-rays are not cheap, so I was going to have to pay for those. So he was like, we wanted to see if it's moving along or what have you. So I was like, okay, fine, we can see what's going on with it. So they did the x-rays, and they saw that whatever was there at Banfield in her intestines had been pushed through. So it's like, it looks like it's moving by itself. So I was like, oh, great. Obviously, I was going to do the surgery if she needed it, but it was definitely a relief not to have to, okay? Because that was an expensive surgery. So then they came back. I was able to meet with the doctor. Her name was Dr. Hennessy. Very nice. And she let us know that Zoe had sludge in her gallbladder, and she thinks that's why her liver wasn't functioning properly, and it was fighting off some type of bacteria or something like that. So she let us know that there's this medicine that we give her, some Uridol, and she gave us medicine for her liver. And after that, they also had given her enema, because they said even though she had pooped the day before, she didn't poop that morning, but she had been pooping normally, like how she normally poops the day before. They gave her enema, just cleaned her out, and then they tested. They also did an x-ray on the other side just to make sure there was nothing else going on. Obviously, they saw that her gallbladder was a little bit enlarged and it had the sludge in it, and her liver wasn't functioning properly with their blood work that they did as well. So she was able to give us some medicine for her gallbladder, and we were able to get some medicine for her liver. And before any of this had happened, I had noticed that Zoe was getting a little bit thin, and so I was like, why is she getting thin? I'm not really changing her food. I'm not really changing what she's eating. And I think that the issue with her gallbladder and the issue with her liver was affecting her metabolism, because she was thinning out. So after we've been on this medicine now for nearing a month, because we go back in a couple of weeks just to do a checkup and make sure everything's moving along with her, and make sure her gallbladder is doing better and her liver is doing better. But she's gained weight back, and she's healthy, and she's just fine. So she has to take a medicine in the morning, a pill in the morning for her liver. She has to take that 30 minutes before she eats. Then I have a liquid that I put into her food at each meal, and that is for her gallbladder, just to get that sludge out of her gallbladder. And she's doing just great. Like, I'm really happy with how she's doing. And you know, that was extremely stressful day. It took me out, and I didn't even put up a video, I think, that week. I was so distraught. Like, that was like the most stressful day of the year for me. Like, I was crying, y'all. I was crying hard. And it was just very frustrating. I was scared for my Zoe. I didn't want her to have surgery, and I just wanted her to be okay. So now I take her back, like I said, in a couple weeks, just to make sure her gallbladder is functioning properly, just to make sure everything's going smoothly. I did ask the doctor, I was like, well, how long is she going to have to be on this medicine? And she did say that it could be just this month, and her gallbladder will be fine, or it could be something that she'll have to be on for the long run. So essentially for the rest of her life. So we will see. But like I said, I'm happy to report that she is healthy. She's back to normal. She's not throwing up. She's eating her food. And we are already very precautious of things on the floor, things in their reach, because typically Marley and Bailey, they won't eat stuff like that. They'll kind of just sit there or leave it alone. But my Zozo, she will tear it apart if there is food in there. She is a food hound. Like, she'll sniff it out. So we're being extra cautious about things of that nature, especially with me having kids around and they drop things, and sometimes I don't see it. So now, like, at the end of the day, I just go through the house and just make double, triple, quadruple sure there's nothing in her reach, so we can keep her around and as healthy as possible for the long haul. So anyways, guys, that is what happened to Zoe. Like I said, she's doing so good right now. She's happy, she's healthy. She looks tired right now, but she's happy. It's just a rainy Sunday, and I think she just wants to lay down and cuddle for a bit. But that's all that I have for you guys today. I definitely thank you for watching this video. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And also, please do not forget to check out our website, www.thosedorkies3, where we do sell our leashes. And don't forget to subscribe to the website as well, because you will have special offers when you do subscribe. But anyways, that's it again, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.